All right, everybody, and welcome back to the 9 Years podcast. I am Nick Draper, joined, as always, by the face of the BBC Sports website, Mr. Stuart Deakins. Thank you very much for downloading the show this week. We're going to try and spread some positivity because things don't seem very positive right now. I suppose unsurprising after an opening day defeat. Heavy defeat. Heavy 3-goal. I suppose you don't get... I suppose it counts as a heavy defeat now. Anyway, it was a bad defeat, let's just put it that way. And we'll talk about the 3-0 defeat at Huddersfield in some depth. We do have some transfer and some squad news to talk about. There are some new rules at the club. We've got a new ticketing system that absolutely we have to discuss. And we'll look ahead to the visit of Reading on the weekend as well. Just Like Heaven, Stu, I think it might be one of my favourite songs. If we went on to Desert Island Discs, you get 7 songs.
Yes.
I think it might be one of those. Maybe one day we should do that. We should do a special edition of the podcast where we do our Desert Island Discs, pick our 7 records and see what we come out with.
Certainly. Do you know what, right? It's sort of a little bit of a link, but sort of like to give the game away, I'm in the background, I have Celtic on in the Champions League, which is hilarious because the Premier League's not even started yet and Rangers are already out of Europe. But anyway, but I've just noticed that when they come out, the tunnel, everyone has a message over, so we have Welcome to Plough Lane. Celtic has Welcome to Paradise. Have they seen Glasgow?
Certainly that part of Glasgow as well, if you've ever been. But,
so it just made me chuckle. I was like, where's the Welcome to Paradise? Like, that's an interesting way of putting it. I don't know whether... Yeah, interesting message.
Paradise Celtic Park has been known that for forever and a day, as far as I'm aware. It makes more sense to me than somewhere in Buckinghamshire being referred to the jungle.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's just... But then everything they do is just they mock themselves and they just don't even realise it, do they? Welcome to hell. Or, sorry, no one likes us. Well, yeah.
I just think they're a little bit simple, to be honest.
Well, yes, they are. Bless them.
But... Just Like Heaven, as I say, just to finish up, 2 things that song makes me think of, Stu. Adventureland. A couple of weeks ago, we had a couple of TV and film reviews, which seemed to go down well. I think we might have to make this a more regular feature. Adventureland, if you've ever seen it, probably about 15 years old now. Good film, that, if you want to check that one out. Also, Just Like Heaven, Robert Smith performed that at Glastonbury last year with Olivia Rodrigo. And, I'm not really down with today's popular modern beat combos, but... Olivia Rodrigo, I've got time for Olivia Rodrigo. I like her. She's not like these other, like Sabrina Carpenter, Bilge, Harry Styles, Bilge, Olivia Dean, Bilge, Liam Trotter. I mean, he's not primarily a pop star. He is a former player / trainee referee, and as such would be an unknown quantity as a pop star, but he would be Bilge if he tried.
Poor Liam Trotter. He got a mention in the same breath as some... pop stars that I'm with you. Like, I watch the Brits sometimes and I'm like, who?
On that note, on the who are you note, who are some of our squad? Because we've made some additions and we've got some departures. So before we get into Huddersfield, let's talk about this. I guess the most recent is Andy Yeardom, signed, well, he's a free agent. He was released by Reading at the end of last season, 34-year-old defender, primarily a right back. He played about he got 29 appearances last season for Reading, but I think it's only about 4 or 5 90 minutes. So very few starts.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, is he coming in to play as another more cover at centre half? Is he coming in to be cover at right wing back? What's he doing?
Not too sure. Against Lane Orient, he played right centre back and looked decent within that.
Tuesday night in the Pointers Trophy.
Yes, we lost on penalties. We've had 2 penalty shootouts. We've only played 3 games this season. It always feels like we've gone to America again. But yeah, he looks like, I think he can play right wing back. It looks. Hey, look, do you know what? I was a little bit meh about him signing, if I'm being honest with you. Decent record, but 34, so bit old. But actually, do you know what? He still looked quicker than Sweeney and Johnson, and we need a bit of pace. Can I just say, right, he's going to think that we've made a song up for him already. He's got an interesting name, because if you say it really quickly, it sounds like Udons.
Yes, this is true.
He's going to think
Andy Udons.
He's going to think they love me already. He's got a ready-made. He's got a ready-made name song.
He's got a ready-made name.
But yeah,
wow,
interesting.
Never think at all, did they?
Interesting one. Not too sure about a 4-month contract. I don't know whether that says anything about him and his injury record or his age, or it says about whisk of his skin.
Says that if he has a good 4 months, he can probably attract interest from a team that's going to pay him a bit more than we can, and off we go again. Hey,
True,
how
it might not.
cynical of me.
True, it might not actually be. It might not be our requirement. Yeah, you're very right.
On the going the other way, Kai Jennings has gone out on loan to the end of the season to Crawley Town. Johnny Jackson said his game time would be limited, but he does say we have a recall option in January. So read into that what you will. Lots of people are upset with the fact that Jennings has gone out. Again, we'll come on to it more, I think, in a little bit. It seems to be we have a way of playing, but not all of our squad are particularly best suited to that way of playing, and Kai Jennings might fall victim to that one. Might be better maybe in just a usual sort of centre midfielder in like a flat four as opposed to a three in midfield. I'm not sure, but anyway, he needs game time. He needs experience in the Football League. It's unlikely we're going to chuck him in at this point and expect miracles from him. So it does kind of make sense. But is he out of contract with us at the end of the year? Is that what a lot of people's concern is?
Yeah, I believe he is, and I think I think there's a guy on Twitter who's normally quite switched on with information, and he was saying he'd turned down a new contract. So you have to wonder whether we just count our losses and we just think get him out there. I would like to have seen him given a little bit of a chance this season, if I'm being honest with you. Yeah, when Johnny moved him to wing back, it does concern you a little bit of trying to find a way into the team. I suppose my thinking is we obviously bought a loanee in. We brought in Harrison, haven't we? And we always sort of said we wouldn't bring somebody in on loan to stop a development in the player. And it just felt to me a little bit like, have we brought someone in on loan that we have got someone in that position? However, what I would say is Harrison does look decent on that side of it. But yeah, it's a shame. I just think at a decent season at Sutton would have been interesting to see what chance he would have got. And let's not forget, Jack Curry had a loan at Eastbourne Borough for a season and then went straight into a League One campaign. So it's not as if the gap is that big, but for whatever reason, we've decided that Jennings goes out on loan. So he now goes and slums it at Crawley.
Did Jack Curry made his debut in League Two, didn't he? When we beat Gillingham
I
on the opening day.
I thought it was League One, or did we get promoted to League One?
No, do you know what? I don't think so. I think I will double check, but I'm pretty sure he's played on the opening day and scored against Gillingham, which would have been the Division 4. So at the time, remember on the opening day we beat them 2-0. We actually mentioned it last week. They beat us in a few days later. But even so, anyway, Jack Curry is an excellent player, and we'll cross swords with him again at some point this season, as we know. Jake Reeves Jr. and Kang didn't go to Huddersfield. On their way out, either a transfer for big money in the Kang's case, we spoke about that last week. Jake Reeves seems to be headed out, possibly down into Division 4 as well. Johnny Jackson said neither of them travelled up to Huddersfield. They felt it would be a bit of a distraction. I mean, it didn't seem to make much of a difference in the end. But it does seem that Jake's time with us is coming to an end. We thought that was going to be the case anyway, didn't we, at the end of last season before he triggered a contract extension, I think.
Yeah.
Or an option, however they like to phrase these things these days. Jake Reeves is an absolute Wimbledon legend, and we just have nothing but gratitude for him when we think, which looks pretty likely, that he will be gone.
Yeah, it's always sad, isn't it? Because obviously 3 spells of us, and in both promotion sides from League 2 to League 1. I sort of get it. I get we have to. League 1 is getting tougher and tougher every season, and I think, unfortunately, Jake just doesn't have the legs to get. Well, in terms of he can run around the pitch all day, but he just doesn't have that pace that's probably needed in that midfield area. And we're going for something different. Distraction is a little bit. Hey, look, maybe Junior and Kang is because he wants to get out. I get that. He's obviously. It's nice that the club have recognised that there is something going on with that. So at least rather than sort of he's not in the squad, we now know that there's obviously a pending move to go ahead. I can't see how Jake Reeves would be a distraction as a captain. I think he would only have a good influence. It doesn't strike me to be someone who would just sulk. So that was a bit of a weird one, but that might have just been Johnny Moore talking about Junior and Kang. But the thing is, we do need to get it sorted very quickly. We've got 2 weeks left of the window.
Yeah.
And Junior and Kane goes, do we replace him? If Jake Reed goes, do we replace him? So we think we probably need. Well, with Dom coming in, probably might need 2 more players. But if then Kane and Reeves go out, it could be 4 players, and that's a lot to bring in to have with 2 weeks left of the transfer window.
There is a chance that our starting 11 in a couple of weeks looks massively different to what we thought it was going to be. We said last week that the team that started against Newport, with perhaps Stockley coming in for Sasu, was JJ's first choice 11, but I think some acquisitions and what we've seen so far probably changes that. And as you say, there's going to be more personnel. We have to be more personnel coming in, especially given the situation we find ourselves in at the moment, which is tricky, and it wasn't helped by the 3-0 defeat on the opening day. That said, okay, so we lost at 3-0 at Huddersfield last Saturday. We were 2-0 down inside the first quarter of an hour. They had a player sent off after half an hour, and then that was game over. And they got a third, bit of a counter-attack, as you'd expect, about 10 minutes to go from another substitute that is probably earning more money than any of our first team 11, to be honest with you. This is the world in which we live in. Do you think there was a bit of an overreaction post-game? I don't think anything changed. I felt like we knew that going away to Huddersfield, one of the best resourced squads in the division, just looking at their bench before kickoff would tell you as well that it was going to be a really, really tough game. Sanchez Fernandez, who scored the 2 goals in the first half, they signed him from Holland. It was making his debut, and they paid a fee for him. I don't think we're paying fees to sign 25-year-old wingers from Holland. It's just not happening. So we're up against it. The result was not a surprise, and it doesn't really change anything. We know that we're going to be towards the bottom end of the table all season. And Huddersfield away is not somewhere I don't think anyone would have been putting on their however they do on their spreadsheet for where they thought we were going to pick up points this season.
No, it's a difficult one, isn't it? Because I think most people class it as the first game of the season, even though we played Newport. Yeah. But I think this one was classed as the proper first game of the season. Yeah. And I suppose you just sometimes expect better from the first game of the season, no matter who you play. Let's be fair, we went to Luton this time last year, and only Ryan Johnson own goal. So I think performance-wise, it wasn't good. I think the fact that Huddersfield, there's a couple of things. They scored a goal really, really early on. Countered us. Nelson gave the ball away, and
lost the challenge, yeah.
And then look, Bishop should have saved it. There's just no doubt about that. And then we're 2 down very quickly. So I think that sort of knocks the stuffing out of you. I think some people would also allude to the fact we drew 3-0 at Huddersfield last year, but we're not always lucky to have Owen Goodman in goal against us all the time.
Well, actually, the difference is we don't have Orsi anymore, and he was a different last year. But let's be honest, the 3-0 last year, we got battered for the majority of that game. It was miraculous that it ended 3-0.
We did, but if you look at it in terms of, I think that's where people measured it against. And also, you can't get away from the fact that they were down to 10 men, obviously from the 30th minute. So, a good 65, 70 minutes against a team of 10 men. And if you dropped into that game at any point, you would not have realised Huddersfield down to 10 men. And I think so I think that compounded everything. And then to top it off, they went and broke away, bit of a powder puff goal, and then scored a 3 and make it really comfortable. So I think that, was there an overreaction? Possibly. But I think, if you judge, and if you can't do this, but if you judge the season as a whole, from last, if you judge the back end of last year, and you continue that, 1 win in 13 games in all competitions. And I know you don't always want to try and do that because it's a new season, the league's, everyone's on 0 points, but we do continue to lose, and I think that drains people sometimes.
Where are the issues? I referenced them moments ago. In the team as it is at the moment, lots of people point to 3 things possibly. One is lack of depth up front. Midfield 3 doesn't seem to really work. And again, maybe Harrison is the solution here. Maybe Harrison is that tough ball-winning midfielder that I've said for a long time that we need, and I think has become massively apparent that we still need. And then defensively, we're a little bit slow. So, I mean, do we have solutions at present other than Harrison, or are we just waiting, like you said earlier, to get bodies through the door?
Harrison looks decent. Looks decent on the ball. I think we have to be careful. It's his first loan.
And he's very young still.
I think if you remember Magoma, looks
Don't like
breathtaking.
him. Don't like Magoma.
Look breathtaking, but naturally goes through a bit of a spell where they naturally go through a lull. I think you have to be careful who you play alongside him in that three, because he hasn't got loads of pace and he really needs the ball to be effective. But direct, likes playing through the lines. Like him a lot. I think our biggest problem is probably coming defensively. I think that dictates the midfield shape. I've noticed in the first couple of games we're not pressing like we can and we normally do, which in terms of pressing high. Because I don't think I think we're scared of getting turned around with Sweeney and Johnson there. So I think our starting line is deeper, which then your midfield has more gaps between it. So I think there's a lot of things in there. It does worry me. Sweeney isn't the quickest. And we are going to get done. We're going to get done for pace. There's just no doubt. The first two games the first three games, if you can, Leighton Orient, because Sweeney played in that as well. We are going to struggle to keep clean sheets at best.
Do you think we're going to attempt to recreate the Stevenage model of last season, which Sweeney was very successful in? Stevenage were absolute dire to watch, but they had a way of playing that was very difficult. They were very defensive. They sat deep. They didn't press high whatsoever. They had a way of playing that suited them and was very, very direct. So do you think with a couple more additions, Stockley obviously being the first one in that, if you want to go direct, you need another one. You can't just rely on Stockley. I think without him, you can't go. We don't have the players to go direct, so we need someone else there. But that's how Stevenage went about things. They got the ball forward quickly, and they had mobile midfielders that could then join in. Do you think that's the thinking?
Well, that's what I was going to say, because Stevenage make it look very, well, not easy, but everyone looks at Stevenage and goes, probably not a shit budget, but not as good as the others.
Not a playoff budget.
No, but what they do is they work really hard. Press. They haven't got loads of. They've probably not got pace at the back, but they do all work really, really hard, and then they rely on set pieces and stuff like that. Yeah, but I don't think we've got to set up for that. By the players we've signed, if you look at Smith, gets around. But I've not been overly impressed with him this season already. Nelson, bit of a pretty player. I don't think he does the work off the ball. Miles Hippolyte looks off it. If I'm being honest with you, looks disinterested. For Miles, not really interested. Not. What concerned me at Huddersfield was I felt there was a couple of players that just didn't work. We can forgive being shit, but we expect people to work, and it just didn't feel like it was there. But maybe Stockley, yes, but we've got to get someone else. Stockley will head the ball all day long. He might as well have no feet because he'll just head it. But you need to, is he going to play 90 minutes? No. It looks to me like we're short on forwards, but what we've done is we've sacrificed Sasu from being a wing back and chucked him up front. So he's going to be a replacement forward. Mm-hmm. That's a worry because he's a rookie in that side of it. So we have a lot of things to resolve in a 2-week window, which worries me a little bit, but could be exciting. We could be one of the only teams that do business on transfer deadline day.
And that always goes wonderfully successfully, and you get everything you want, and you don't get anything panicked at all when you leave it that late. Sasu, I know what you mean about rookie. I think just because people might hear that and go, he's been in the team now for seasons upon seasons. He's not a rookie anymore. I think you're talking about the idea of him actually playing as a centre forward as opposed to being moved around in different positions, be it left wing or wing back or whatever it might be.
Well, yeah, because the comment, and Sasu is a George Frankham of this era. That's how I vote. But I hear some people say to him, he's played 50 or 60 games. He should be, but he hasn't played them as forward.
No.
He's been used as a utility player, to be fair, trying to find a home for him. But it looks like we're going to chuck him up front, which is cool. But he is, how can I put it? If you're looking at Foyo and Sasu are probably similar in terms of status in the team this season because they're rookie forwards.
Foyo?
Foyo last year. What I mean is,
Oh, I see. Sorry. Yes.
to me, like Sasu is a replacement for Foyo. Omar Stockley is a replacement for Omar.
Yeah.
So we haven't actually got a Josh Kelly replacement yet. That's how I'm sort of looking.
I keep forgetting about Matty Stevens. We don't know how long he's going to be out for, but obviously we have to factor that one in. But we also have to factor in injuries that he's sustained over the last however period of time. It can have an effect. The other thing about strikers is we don't even mention Hackford anymore, which is a worry. Aaron Sasu, at least I believe, took a penalty in the shootout in the B Team Trophy, whereas Hackford was replaced in the last seconds by Hippolyte for Hippolyte to take a penalty. And that always, when a striker's being the one sacrificed for penalty kicks, you do start to ask questions.
Yeah, Hackford is just like midfield, stroke forward, stroke winger.
He's you can't play him anywhere else than centre forward. We said this at the start of last season. We spotted this one straight away. You cannot play him anywhere else other than up top. And if he's not getting, or we're not getting out of him what we need to get him out of him in those positions, then you wonder what's gonna the rest of the season going to hold.
Hackford is perfect if you're winning a game and you want, say, 80 minutes. You want someone to just be a threat. He isn't someone who chases. I don't think he's someone who's going to recover you the game.
No.
And the problem is, there's not many games that we lead. So he might be perfect at a club like Bradford or something like that. But it's a shame. I just don't. I can't put my finger on how we're going to utilise him. But at the moment, I can't put my finger on how we're going to attack teams. Apart from when Stockley's on there, the ball's going to hit his head, and we just have to read it. But yeah, it's scoring goals is going to be a challenge when we can't. I don't think we're going to keep many clean sheets this year.
Set pieces. We just have to get Marcus Brown to buy us as many free kicks as he possibly can and stop giving them away. I think he's got 2 bookings already from 2 competitive games this season. So.
Love it.
Anyway, disallowed goal. We did have one. I did have to laugh at this disallowed goal, right? Because from all reports, I didn't see the game, but from all reports, we were, and it was quite obvious, we were well beaten, right? All right. No dispute, no complaints about the result whatsoever. Huddersfield just too good for us. We've talked about the strength and depth they have. Radlovic comes on. I mean, he comes on for the love of you know what. Gooch is on the bench for them. It's ridiculous. Joe Taylor and Ashley Fletcher are their starting centre forwards. We're not competing with these teams, all right? But Johnny couldn't help himself in the post-match going, well, we had a goal disallowed and it's 2-1. You never know. It's like, give over, Johnny. And also, yes, the goal was disallowed. I can't see we've got any complaints about that one because Marcus Brown is offside and he attempts to head the ball. So therefore, he is interfering with play. So it had to be chalked off.
He's in the eye line of the goalkeeper. He's in the eye line of the goalkeeper, and that's where they use it. He doesn't touch it, but he
attempts to.
Yeah, the word active is, if he's in front of the goalkeeper, the keeper will use Marcus Brown as a player that could touch the ball, doesn't touch the ball, goes in. I think Johnny I think Johnny mentioned it, but I think he was honest and said, look, we're well beaten. Although I've not listened to it, but he thinks we played well against Leyton Orient, and I would dispute that, if I'm being honest with you. But he's not going to come out and say, well, it's good that he's coming out and saying things because we haven't heard much from our team at the moment. But yeah, we were well beaten. There was there was no injustice. We were well beaten.
Hard situation for Johnny at the moment because Terry Skiverton's still away at the moment. Dave Reddington left as well, of course, so it's a new sort of team that he's working with at the moment. So it's difficult. It's difficult times, I think, for everyone involved. What are these B Team Trophy games like? I've never watched one. What are they like? Are they competitive? Are they more pre-season esque? Do you get much out of them? I don't know. What's the viewing experience?
I don't mind them. Obviously, the B team thing, I get all that, but I don't mind the fact that it gives minutes to players that haven't had minutes. So you get to see some of the players that you might, on the fringes and stuff like that. They normally they do the second half normally turn into a little bit of a mismatch in terms of, you have loads of players that come on, haven't played with each other. And it's that sort of thing, like it might as well be a PFA game where everyone comes in for a trial and just plays their own game because there's no team structure. So you sort of get that. But I think they can be good. For Stockley, gets his first goal of the season, had one disallowed. So I think for that point of view, it's effectively like the old reserve league, which no one has anymore. Do you know what I mean? So for Stockley, we've done him in the world of good. Harrison, world of good. Yeardom. So there was players within that I think got something out of it. But yeah, the result. The problem is, it's like anything. If we'd won that game last night, people would have gone, well, yeah, but it's a B team trophy game, don't count. When you lose, and it feels like we lost the game because we lost on penalties, even though we drew it, people will use it and go, oh, we lost. It's a difficult one with that. But I felt we'd done all right with Stockley on, but there was a lot of first teamers within that last night, and again, I just felt we dropped off, and we didn't kill the game, and we ended up losing it, even though we drew it. Aren't we?
Yeah, as you know, Stu, I don't think it counts for anything, so it didn't bother me one way. It doesn't bother me in the slightest. I'm not going to use the result or anything to point towards one way or another. I'm just interested if it recreates the settings and the atmosphere of a league game.
Oh no, because it's empty. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, the intensity
is
the intensity the same. That's what I'm sort of getting at.
Yeah, I think it's difficult to get the intensity the same when there's no one there.
Yeah.
So from that point of view, it's probably like they have a penalty shootout. It's probably the most relaxed penalty shootout in the world because there's no pressure.
Yeah.
So that's that. But yeah, it can't create that. It basically gets minutes for people, which is effectively what a reserve game is.
As an aside, we moved the League Cup game because everyone was saying we have too many midweek fixtures. We want to move this League Cup first round out to a Saturday to free up a midweek and stuff like that. But they still cram it with these group games for this trophy. I just find it just makes little sense to me. Anyway, going back to Huddersfield, who was your, if it's possible, man of the match for us?
I wouldn't pick one, to be honest with you. I think I don't see anyone that come. It's probably a case of who was less shit.
Yeah, basically.
But I think it'd be difficult to pick one off the top of my head. Stockley possibly because he come on and looked a threat, but that'd be just. I don't know because I think Stockley. Yeah, because obviously Stockley looks like a star signing for us, so you're hopeful that he's going to produce it. So yeah, but I don't think there's anyone that stood out. To be fair.
Likewise, then I'm guessing there's no one you're going to single out as someone that needs to do better next week.
I think, yeah, singling out is always difficult. I worry about a goalkeeping situation.
Yeah, that's the obvious one on the highlights.
And it's not just because Bishop let the ball go through his body. It's more a case of his general confidence. Ball at his feet, his kickings, just, he struggled last year with it, didn't he? And I also sense the worrying trend, and it might just be Dan Sweeney does like a moan. And there looked to be a number of times where Dan Sweeney wasn't really listening to the call. We gave away a corner. We looked panicky. Didn't feel to me like Dan Sweeney had the utmost confidence in Bishop. But I don't think that's a personal thing. I think he's just we're just struggling defensively.
It's going to be difficult given that Dan Sweeney is Ryan Sweeney's brother. He's playing at centre-half alongside Ryan Johnson. It's not going to be the first or the last time that anyone's going to refer to him as Ryan Sweeney this season. Pick of the other results in the division, we forgot. I forgot last week to do the pick of the fixtures ahead of time, but looking back on them, the fixture that I had chosen last week for opening day was Plymouth Stockport, and that's my pick of the results in the third tier because I was not expecting Stockport to come away with a 3-1 win from home park, but that was the standout result, I think, of the week. What about you?
Bromley winning at Barnsley.
Yeah.
Momentum. It's interesting for me because Barnsley have got their former manager that done well for them many years ago. Concede goals for fun. Very much looks to be. I class Barnsley as one of the bigger clubs in this division in terms of size of support and stadium and stuff like that. And I'm just trying to work out who's going to be shitter than us. So interesting that Bromley have already got 3 points on the board. That would do them well or good.
Don't like Bromley though, so you know.
Do you know what? I don't like Bromley, but I like them. I like their manager. He's very refreshing. In terms of, I just like he just looks like a proper lad who would just say it as it is. I quite like that. But yeah, Bromley as a whole.
Before we move on, the 50.1% club. The odd one out from these four, Stu. This week, I've not given you players. I'm going to give you teams.
Cool.
And of the 4 teams, you have to tell me which ones you'll want out and why, and we'll give the answer right at the end of this week's show. The 4 teams in alphabetical order are Fleetwood, Grimsby, Huddersfield, and Luton. I will leave you to ponder that one.
Yeah.
I mean, there's one immediate connection that connects all 4, and you'll work it out if you realise the way I have mentioned those 4 clubs. But I'll leave people to come up with their own thoughts and reveal the answer at the end. Right, away fans. Ticketing priority system that many people have called for a long time. Somewhat ironic because you could argue that realistically, unless we get Bournemouth away in the FA Cup, you wait if we do, by the way. That'll be the biggest scrap for tickets you'd ever encounter, which is amazing because Bournemouth are an awful, awful club. Like, they are a terrible club. They shouldn't be in the Premier League, but they are. And because they're in the Premier League and because they've got a ground that only holds 12 people, we're only going to give out 5 tickets. So if people want to go, because it'll be FA Cup and it's a Premier League team, in inverted commas, because I just Bournemouth as a Premier, give me a break, honestly. Anyway, moan over. We got this away. We're not probably Bromley away, but even then, how many of our fans really actually want to go to Bromley away? Fewer than it would have been originally because they've moved it to the Monday, and it could get moved again if we actually beat Fulham in the League Cup. So all these sorts of things to consider. Anyway, away fans priority. You're either in Group 1 or Group 2 or Group 3. You might know your answer. You might know which group you're in. You might not. It feels like a good idea. It feels like bringing it in for Fulham was unnecessary because we've got so many tickets that anyone who wants a ticket is going to get a ticket, and has caused a little bit of angst, but it's going to be fine come the end of it. Do you think we've put it in place because Fulham has actually provided us with a perfect opportunity to test this system, to understand how it works and work out the bugs where it's low stakes? Because at the end of the day, okay, some people might not be able to get tickets next to the person they want to be sat with, for example, because getting used to the new system, but everyone who wants a ticket is getting a ticket to Fulham.
Yeah, I think it's right to bring it in. I think you're right, and it's obviously the Don's Trust have listened to the fans and stuff like that. I think with anything like this, you're always going to have people question how my points calculated, why I'm in this group, why do you get more points for going to home game? Do you know what I mean? There's always going to be someone that's going to be not happy with it if it penalises them. So I don't think there's any other. I don't think there's always a fair way of bringing it in. I think I'm not going to the game, so I've not had the fun of getting in the tickets. I did get an email of what priority I'm in and how many points I've got, but I know some people haven't got that, and they've naturally been like, "Well,
So how many points have you got? How many points have you got?
40 something." I think it's quite an achievement because I've done no away games.
Just say 100. Just say you've got 100 points.
Yeah. Well, I can get as many points as I want. Do you know what I mean? I just update it.
Yeah, but just say you've got 100 points. Say you've got
100 points.
I've got 104. That's all I was going for. That, and those that know will know. That's all I was looking for there. How tragic am I?
Did I spoil it? We need a new strap line. It feels like other podcasts having new strap lines this season. We have to think of something ourselves.
What is our strap? Do we have one still? 106.58% unofficial. That's what we are. That's it.
So yeah, I think what's caused the issue is and I might be wrong on this because I'm not, like I say, I've not paid a massive amount of attention on it, but I think like if you buy tickets for other people on your ID, then you get the points.
Yeah, it's all those sorts of things,
yeah, and lots of things like that. If you buy a ticket on the game, on the day at an away game, So I think there's teething problems. I don't think it's going to, like I say, don't think it's going to cause massive problems. Fulham, they've given us 4,000. I'd imagine they can give us another 2,000 if we sell that. And if not, you can sit in the home end because I don't think they're going to get a massive attendance from it. So yeah, maybe it was the right way to teeth it, but it's like anything. People always moan about a priority thing, but it needed to come in. Yeah.
Digital tickets only for Fulham. I mean, really, is it that hard? Just print a ticket or give us a ticket to print even. I even settle for that now because of the way this is going. But no, so actually these tickets don't exist. Digital tickets are tickets that do not exist. They are Schrodinger's tickets. You can see the ticket, but you can't touch the ticket. It's not really there. It's just in the ether. It's nebulous and ephemeral and all those other fancy words. I hate
Well,
it with a passion.
well, it is there, but it's like a book, isn't it? Like I don't like getting books because I don't like the feel of a book. I just get it on my iPad. It's there still.
It doesn't exist. But the problem is because do you know what? There's something going on at the minute with AI. Have you seen this? Where they're raiding secondhand bookshops, buying in bulk all these secondhand books.
Yeah.
They think what they're doing then is they're putting them into large language models for AI, and then the books are Fahrenheit 451 style being burned, so they no longer exist. It's very easy to memory hole stuff if it doesn't physically exist, because with a click of a button, gone. And that's my worry. I could go to Craven Cottage next Thursday, go to my phone, click of a button, my ticket no longer exists. This is what I'm worried about.
What I would say, I get your point. I get your point. I'm just being deliberately sarcastic. What I would say is Don's tickets work so well. By the way,
Yeah, you have said this, and lots
obviously
of people
because
have said this.
obviously I'm not because I was doing press and media last year. I didn't need to use my actual scene ticket, but I'm so impressed. Like even the scanning works really well. Yeah, I just think someone's given me some tickets for Saturday, transferred them over to me. Piece of cake. Like, well impressed with that, by the way.
Fair enough.
Just want
You
to
just
give
know
some.
this.
I just think, didn't want to have a moan about everything because I'm going to have a moan in a minute about something. So I thought I'd just add some balance and add some light and shade. Don Six, really, really good.
We never moan on this podcast. I don't moan about anything ever. I am Mr. Positivity, and I think the future of the world is fantastic.
When you started it with an F, I thought you were going to say I think the world's fucked. That's probably
Yeah,
more. That's probably more apt.
more likely. I refute any suggestions that Smithers is behind with a gun in my lower back. Anyway, right. On Nazi Twitter this week, Stu, you asked the question for discussion about the new ticketing system. What were people's thoughts on it? We had loads of replies. We're not going to be able to get through all of them, but I'll just pick some at random. So we'll go with, Dominic Francis at DCF104. 104. There you go. See, I'm sure that's the same reference that I was making earlier. He said, how many did we realistically take to Huddersfield? He questioned 800 or 900. Well, credit our media team for actually publishing the attendance on the website, because getting attendances these days is like getting into Fort Knox. You can't find them. Like, newspapers don't publish anymore. Clubs are very protective of these things now. But we had about I think it was 565. Which was a lot down on what it was last season. But you'd expect that because people like me, I went last season, tick off the ground. This a summer fixture away at Huddersfield wasn't as appealing. Dominic says, I think it's fair we've got a system in place when we're likely to sell out allocations. But as he says, when we're likely to sell out allocations, and I'm not sure how often that's going to be this season, to be honest. Leyton Orient, possibly in the league. Luton, just because of, I think we played them quite late in the season, potentially. We'll see. Anyway, other responses. Gary Allen at Gary Allen 180,665, which is what Charles Coppell said the attendance was for Wimbledon games at Selhurst Park in 2002. He said it's okay, but the reality is there are probably only 2 games. He said, there you go. Like I just said, Orient and Bromley, possibly non-league, first round FA Cup draw away, possibly. It's a good shout. That are likely to sell out. I can't imagine anyone is desperate for a Bromley ticket. No, I think Leyton Orient's allocation for their game at Bromley has been increased because Bromley didn't had loads of tickets left over, so they could increase the away allocation. Lee Willett, veteran Lee Willett, at Lee Willett 88. I don't get 88. Is there any particular reason? 88?
Something happened that year, didn't it?
I'm not sure. Very pleased with the system in place. Good example of fans, club, cooperation. Hopefully we can tweak when it works, when it actually counts, when rubber meets road, when it's going to be more of an issue than Fulham away is going to be. Being at a Dross 1-0 loss Morecambe away on a Tuesday night should count treble. Yeah, there is also that one. There should be. We should have like a ranking system for particular fixtures. Burton away on a Wednesday night must be one of those, I would suggest. Malcolm Brackley at Malcolm Brackley said, never going to be perfect, but it works for 95%, and it's so much better than some of the situations we had last season. Fulham, no real pressure, of course. So there you go. Thank you everyone for contributing on Nazi Twitter.
Yeah,
Podcast.
I like the idea of more difficult games getting more points, or if you lose by more than 2 goals, you get an additional point. But then equally, I think if you go to B team games at home, or those dreaded games that no one likes to go to, you should get an extra point for that.
Yeah, if you go to Milton Keynes away, you should get 50 points.
Yeah.
I can't believe I'm going to have to go back there this year. I'm
You should
really
get a
out.
free. You should get a free VOO token or something like that. But yeah, do you know what? Look, I think the criteria is great. I think it. Hey, look, for someone that used to do all the away games in my 20s and 30s, it's something that I would be up for. And I've always said that I'd feel guilty if I got a ticket for a limited game, and people who go to some of the shitholes that we can go to didn't. So look, yeah, I think the club have done the right thing.
It's amazing because, back in the day, like, very getting tickets for Wimbledon away games was never an issue. And to be honest
No,
with you, for the majority of the time, like we're saying, it's not going to be an issue for us. Like we say, with so many northern trips and stuff like that, we always get a number of allocations. But who knows if we get relegated this season and what awaits us down in the fourth tier? Who knows? We shall see. Anyway, you mentioned potentially getting food vouchers for Milton Keynes away. Food.
oh,
This is yeah. Here we go. Right, this is where I just sit
it's like
back.
we planned it.
I'm gonna. It's like we script this thing. I'm just gonna sit back and let you talk, Stu. So, stadium policies on things that you can bring into the ground on match days, which has been changed, adapted slightly from last week. I think you can bring bigger bags in now from what was originally said, but there's still issues.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of things. So I think the safety, yeah, the rucksack thing and stuff like that, yeah, please they listen to feedback from that because I think that was going to cause hassle for the first proper home game of the season, because it definitely has slowed down entry. And we know that we have a part of a fan base that like to turn up 10 to 3, which they're welcome to. So that's really good. My issue was the food being added to it. So it was like, these are the safety, updating our safeties. And by the way, no food. It's something that I noticed. I follow a Gillingham fan who's on Tom's TV with us, and he's quite well respected with that. And he was bought in at Gillingham, and Gillingham fans put up a moan about it, saying that it was to force fans to buy at the ground, and if they provided better food at better prices, then they would live with that. Um, I I think mine is a continuous. It feels to me we are continuously sweating. We sweat the stadium, and now we're trying to sweat every fan for as much as they can get out of them. We've had our season ticket prices increase over the last 2 years. Yes, all right, this might not be. We're having a laugh. Whether they're going to stop you having a Twix in your pocket or stuff like that, and no one's going to. If anyone walks in with a full KFC meal, then that's silly. Do you know what I mean? But
Do you know what?
um,
I just have to say this. Sorry, Stu. I just have to say this. If you like a lot of chocolate on your biscuit, join our club.
I just feel, I don't know why, I don't see why it's been added. It wasn't in last year, as far as I'm aware, and it just feels like we're a bit tone deaf sometimes. Did it need to be added? Um, when, like I say, we're paying more for the season ticket price, we don't know what the concessions, we don't know what the prices are going to be for the concession stalls and the fan zone and stuff like that. And some people like to bring in a sandwich. There's many of our older fans who bring a little packed lunch in or stuff like that. There used to be ones who used to bring a flask in with a hot chocolate and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
lots of people still do that, don't they? Bring a flag.
Yeah, so I think, hey, look, a couple of people come back to me after me having an initial moan and say, look, it might be done for the first couple of games, and after that, you can do one. I think for me, it was just the general messaging. Not and I'm being sarcastic. I was going to say you can't, no scarves in. Only ones that you bought in the stadium you can wear. It just feels, football is expensive across the board, and it's just my love of football and going football is really starting. When you've got to worry, does your bag measure up to what it should be? Can it fit into these things? Have I got food that they're not going to bring? They're not going to let me in, and it just feels to me like it's money, 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 and that's just not just Wimbledon. That's football generally.
It's interesting though that you mentioned Gillingham because I think a few people have said no other club is doing this, which isn't quite true. It's a lot of this has come in with the new laws and security issues. Like I say, we're not quite at airport style security yet, but I don't. I mean, I can imagine it. Like, you go to, where do you go? You go to Wembley. That's airport style, isn't it? Once you get through the turnstiles, and you go to the O2 or whatever, and you have these things. That might be the way it goes. I know this is slightly different to what you're saying. Um, I, I'm not sure that we are a guilty party. We're not on an island with this one, I think is what I'm saying.
I think the thing with the food is, like, if I bring a sandwich in, that's not going to hurt somebody. Unless I put it in my fridge for last week and bring it in, then it might hurt somebody because it'd be quite hard.
Yeah.
Um,
They
that
could
I
have.
just, and some people said to me, if you go, like I say, if you go to the O2 or you go to a concert, but then I don't go to a concert every week. And actually, I've gone to the O2 and been searched and never. I think we've walked in with stuff before and never been told not to go in there.
Yeah.
I think it's just generally. I'm just. I just feel sometimes that, especially at Wimbledon, we're just being asked, asked to donate, asked to pay bigger prices. Mine is probably just a frustration that we are, like any other club, trying to maximise everything from a fan.
Well, yeah, we are. I mean, we can't deny that. We can't.
No,
We are. Just like we said, we are like any other football club. We Jim, what is make? We talk about ownership model, but if you turn up on a match day, like we said many times, what differentiates us really, realistically, from many other clubs? And people will say we've got a great fan zone, but lots of clubs have those things now.
yeah,
Like we
yeah,
said last season, and not maybe perhaps once you're on the other side of the turnstile, in fairness, but they have them just outside the ground or whatever. So we are just sadly, like we said, we are just any other football club.
yeah. So mine was probably not the food. I don't bring much food. Yeah, I'm trying to think. The last time I bought some food in. But it's not so much. I think it's just this continued messaging that looks like it's going to cost more money, and that's probably my frustration.
There was a couple in front of me a couple of seasons ago. They brought a flask in, and I couldn't figure out what it was when I first looked at it. I was like, "What's that? What's that you've got there?" He said, "It's a flask." I said, "Well, what's that?" He said, "Oh, it keeps your hot stuff hot and your cold things cold." I said, "Okay, so what have you got in there then?" They went, 2 cups of coffee and a choc ice.
I knew some stupid joke was coming out. I knew it wasn't a serious.
We'll come back. Yeah, so anyway, with the bag policy as well, items that you buy in the club shop before kickoff, where do you stand with those things? So if
Yeah,
the allowance has increased a little bit, I understand, but we're still in this problem. You could go into the club shop before kickoff, take kids in, maybe buy them a load of stuff, and then what do you do with them if you're not allowed them?
I'm not sure. I know. Someone mentioned that if I think they bought a cup or something in there, and they left it behind the.
I'm pretty sure Chris had this problem a few years ago. He tried to buy a mug in the club shop, and then he couldn't. He bought a mug, but then he couldn't. He couldn't get it in the ground.
Yeah, I think they left it. I think someone told me they left it behind the kiosk. They collected it after the game. That sort of side of it. But yeah, and this is like I say, like with anything, we were just talking about the ticket policy and stuff. People go to the extremes and go, "What about this? What about that?" It's just, I just didn't see why it had to be included. To be honest with you, but there we go. We're just a club that follows everyone else.
Barring any disasters on Saturday against Reading, that might be our discussion for Nazi Twitter next week and get people's views on that
Well, let's
policy and
see.
see what
Let's
they
see how it
think.
goes.
See how it goes. Yeah,
You know,
exactly. Yeah.
I was chatting to I saw one of my mates on Saturday before Newport, and their granddad had a bag that was too big, and they were told, "Well, you can go to Garrett Lane if you want. Where's that? About a 7 minute walk." He looked like what the bag didn't look big to me in terms of that, but that was a little bit of like, and it caused stress for the family because they had one person who had a bag too big, and they're told, "We'll go to Garrett Lane. Where's Garrett Lane? How far away is it?" It's just, I can just see it causing problems.
It's a good point as well, actually, something I hadn't thought of. Is there signage directing people to where that drop-off place is? Because you say if you come from Wimbledon or Hayden's Roadside, you don't travel down Garrett Lane, you've probably got no idea where it is whatsoever.
No, and all I've seen is it says it's a 7 minute walk. Well, who's walking that? It might be 10 minutes for me. And again, I'm being picky,
No,
but
yeah, but yeah.
it's just I can see if they kept what they were the rules they had on Saturday for Newport. I could see the ground being half empty, because we've seen before when new things have been bought in and stuff like that, then ticketing and stuff. So Yeah, let's just hope it's on common sense. But we also have a new security team that will naturally try and prove to the club that they are good at what they do, and they will be naturally stricter than normal because they want to make sure that they are following the rules the club set.
Looks like it's a sellout pretty much as well, isn't it, on
Yes,
Saturday? So, yeah. New security team. New stewards as well? Are they coming
yes,
to that?
yes.
Really?
Which is surprising because I thought the ones we had last year had really good.
Yeah.
If we go back to that instant with when they looked like they were going to mug everybody and they had all the balaclavas on and stuff like that. We've gone from having some of the worst stewards in the away end to have some of the best ones in the away end. But it looks like they've all been changed, so that's a shame.
Well, yeah, possibly, but I always wonder with these stewarding companies if they are just, it's not the right word for it, but they're like umbrella companies, and the actual stewards on a match day are 0 hours. So whatever contract we had with whatever company last season, it probably is going to employ exactly the same staff,
Yeah,
maybe, but
yeah,
just under different the policies could be different, and they could have
that's
different
true.
ways of behaving and stuff. But yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
well, we'll find out, I
We'll
guess.
soon find out on Saturday when the ground's empty. And we're like, blimey hell, they're walking out already. They've not got in yet.
Not playing Milton Keynes for another month. Leave empty seats. Right. I feel like Room 101 we kind of had, but we'll do Room 101. But let's just do what we said. We're going to take it in turns, aren't we? Each week.
Yes.
So this week, to decide who should go first, I've got a coin here, Stu. I'm going to ask you to call heads or tails. And if you get it correct, then you will go this week. And if you get it wrong, I will go this week. And the great thing is you can't see what side it lands, so I could say absolutely anything. But okay, I'm going to flip it. What do you say?
Let's go for heads.
Tails, would you believe it?
I wouldn't believe it, no.
Would you believe it? It's fresh from the Sonic the Hedgehog games. Right, me then. Okay, I'm going to go this week. I'm going to keep it brief. I've said it many times before. Transfer fees. We have to get on top. Well, it's never going to happen.
Do you want to scrap them? We just get everyone on a free.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
We need to figure out these transfer fees. I saw something like have Man City sold a player to. I know people are going to be listening, but yes, Man City have sold a player. He's a World Cup winning player, a very good player, like one of the best players in the world. But to me, he's just a Man City player, one of many faceless foreign players that are all over the Premier League now. 65 million or something like this.
Yeah.
And no one's even blinking an eye at this. Like, who was it? Wasn't there an England midfielder that went for like over £100 million? He signed for Liverpool or Man City or someone. Anderson.
Anderson, yeah.
Where does he? Who does he play for now?
Manchester City.
He has gone. Okay, all right. And again, just people talk about these fees as if, are you not insane? Are you not hearing yourself speak? £100 million for a footballer, for the contract, a signature of a footballer. Like, what is happening to that money? Where is this money coming from? Why did we act like this is normal? It's not normal. This is insane and absurd. And the problem is, as he says to you, is that the trickle down effect is leaving us where we are chasing our tails, trying to pay off debts, because I know ours was more stadium related, but we're trying to remain competitive at the level we've got ourselves to, and we just can't do it because the money that's being asked now in transfer fees and salaries makes it untenable for us.
Yeah, and I think, do you know what? I think sometimes I think Premier League fans get a bit carried away. If it's like monopoly money, it doesn't count. And there's nothing to quantify against. Rodgers went from Villa to Chelsea, I think, for 120 million or something like that, I think it was. And it actually resulted in Middlesbrough getting a sell-on of £21 million. So they obviously had, I don't know, 15-20%. And they reckon that's the biggest sell-on fee. It's a record. So to give, and if you said that to a Man City fan, they might go, well, yeah, but that's the way football is. But if you said to them, that's 3 million short of what it costs for us to build our West End, then you can measure it. So basically, the sell-on that Middlesbrough got was effectively buy us a whole new 4,000 stand. Crazy money, crazy. I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. But they only get more and more. The more money that comes into the game, it goes out somewhere. And I suppose, you know what? Rather it didn't go to agents and stuff like that. But yeah, it's monopoly. It's monopoly money.
I saw Manchester City paper as well. Someone mentioned they're going to sign a Moroccan player, Ayoub Bouad, a body. What's rude about a body? But apparently, you're going to spend something like 80 million quid on it. It's just crazy, crazy money. Anyway, in the More real world of the third tier. We host Reading on Saturday, who are managed by Liam Richardson and have been since about October last year. Last season, they finished 12th, won 16, drew 15, lost 15, finished 12th. Could not be more mid-table, and we did the double over them. We won 2-1 at their place where they were struggling at the start of the season, and then they were quite insulting. I was quite insulted by their performance when they came to us. We beat them 3-2, but I felt like they thought they just had to turn up to win, and we put them right on that score. I think Marcus Brown got a hat-trick that day. They lost on the opening day 4-3 to everyone's second club, Luton Town. They were 3-1 down at half-time, 3-1 up at half-time, sorry,
Yes.
and then lost the second half 3-0 with an injury time winner. They did beat Bromley in the League Cup on penalties in the first round. They play Stevenage away on Tuesday. Right. The Reading, they've just signed a player from West Ham, literally just before we started recording. His name is George Earthy, winger, apparently. I don't know if he's any good. Never heard of him. But it's a signing as opposed to a loan from a Premier... It's not a Premier League club, is it anymore? I really don't pay attention.
Ouch.
But they've also brought in Kyrus Lisby from Colchester. I think Kevin Lisby's son, is that right? Very fast attacking player.
Yeah,
Josh Stokes has made his move permanent. He was there at the end of last season, I think. No, he wasn't. Yeah. No, sorry. He was at Stockport at the end of last season, and now he's come to make a permanent move to Reading, I think.
Yeah, so he was the one that was in non-league. I think was it Aldershot, went to Bristol City.
Yes, that's right.
Probably, I think those two signings, Lisby and Stokes. I watched that game on Saturday, and Reading were cruising at 3-1. And we should have killed the game, but the first half I was like, Joe, I actually forgot we played them on Saturday until when it did realise when they're 3-1 up. I'm like, shit, we got them on. So yes, all right, they Luton will score 4 goals against many teams this year, but attackingly they worried me. Lisby looked decent. Jack Marriott we know about already. And like I say, Lewis Wing, who is one of probably my favourite players in League One.
Yeah.
I would sign him all day long if we could. But yeah.
Yeah, they are a strong team going forward. Absolutely. And you say Jack Marriott with a hat-trick on Saturday. A unique hat-trick with some of the goals. We'll just put it that way. Lewis Wing on my list here as well. Big Kevin from last season. He's gone. He's gone out to Denmark somewhere.
Wow.
So big Kevin has gone. The only thing I'd say about Reading is defensively they still look a little bit dodgy to me. So I think, we talk about our struggle scoring goals, but we might be in with a shout on Saturday. What do you think, prediction-wise?
I think we would come out with best to draw. I worry. I think we're in really bad form at the moment. I really do. And I think until we get our squad sorted once the window closes, I think we're going to struggle a little bit. And like I say, I worry about Reading's attack. I think they've done very well. But you're right. They're, on paper, they've got some really good players. They don't always play games. But football's not played on the paper. But let's hope Reading turn up with the same attitude that they did last season, because, yeah, it's going to be a tough game.
My only worry is that they will want to put what happened to them last week right.
Yes.
And want to pick up their first points of the season. They've got just under 1,500 tickets now as well, which I think they've sold out as well for some. So it's going to be a large away support. But the good thing is Reading fans behind Arsenal and Fulham must be the most middle-class football club in the country. So don't make any noise whatsoever, so it'll be fine. Elsewhere in the division, pick of the fixtures. For me, randomly, I'm going to pick Wigan versus Leyton Orient, just because there are two clubs that I think will be wanting opening day defeats, and Leyton Orient, I know people said they should do better than last season, but still could find themselves in a little bit of trouble at the wrong end of the table. Wigan, we expect to be down there at bottom 6, bottom 8 as well. So both teams wanting to pick up points. I think it might be a good steer to see where they're actually at. What about you?
Yeah, I picked a game pretty similar, actually. I've gone for Peterborough Mansfield, just because it feels like those two clubs are going in different directions. Peterborough, you always, having championship, buy well, normally at the top of League One and looking for promotion. Mansfield, trying to stay in a division. Just feels there's a bit of a crossroads for Peterborough at the moment. So yeah, just really, if when we come to League One, if you said to me what club would you be more frightened of, Peterborough or Mansfield, I'd say Peterborough. But probably not that the case now. League One's landscape is changing a little bit.
Going to be very interesting to see how this league develops over the first couple of months of the season and see where everyone is roughly after 8-10 games. For all the reasons you've just said, updates from the game with Reading will be available on Nazi Twitter at 9YRS Podcast. Right, 50.1% club, Stu. The 4 options. Who was the odd one out? From Fleetwood, Grimsby, Huddersfield, and Luton. Did you spot any connections possibly at all there with those 4?
The only thing I think the odd one out when you said the names is that I don't think Huddersfield have played non-league.
Oh, that's a good shout. They haven't, but it's more to do with it's a tie-in with us.
Oh,
as well. You're right. I suppose Huddersfield haven't. No, true.
We've played. Oh, was it Fleetwood, Luton,
Huddersfield, Grimsby.
Oh, I was going to say we played in playoff games, but we haven't with Grimsby. No, I'm not too sure.
No. Okay. So, well done to you, anyone out there that got this. They are all towns that we played or have played on the opening day of the season. Fleetwood is the only one we scored against, and this is at their place. So we've been the away team, okay? Because we played Luton at home as well, and I think somebody else as well. But yeah, Fleetwood's the only place we scored. We won 1-0 in 2018. Joe Pickett scored the winner. Otherwise, Huddersfield last week we lost 3-0. Luton last season we lost 1-0, and then Grimsby a couple of years ago we drew 0-0.
And can I say that Fleetwood game is in my memory because it was my son's first away game.
I remember you took him up to Fleetwood.
Yes, and I was changing his nappy as Joe Piggott scored. And if you know where I was sitting, which was dead in line with, well, basically you can see me on TV. Yes, it was my first argument over my son because I gave the nappy to my wife and celebrated a goal, as you do.
I mean, given that Joe Pickett scored the goal, there is a line about being as happy as a pig in something, you know.
Well, it was a number 2, trust me.
There we go. Well, that is us for this week, Stu. Thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. Well, we'll have to figure out how we're going to work the next few weeks because next Thursday is the Fulham game. So we need to figure out, you and I, what we want to do. Like, do we want to go early next week or do we want to go late next week? And then how do we play it with other games? The schedule is going to mess up the podcast completely this first couple of months of the season.
Bring back Saturday kickoffs.
Saturday, 3 p.m. It's the future. I wish. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. Alexa Bliss, bag first milk last 2 + 2 continues to equal 4. And we shall speak to you again next week.